Gotham City Garage is a series that DC just announced, inspired by the hit statue line from DC Collectibles that transforms your favorite DC heroines into badass biker chicks. We've got co-writers Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly here to take us on a ride through the new project.
Essentially, it's an anti-fascist dystopian story where we got to take all of the DC characters that we love and make them all outlaws and rebels and gearheads.
Basically, the DC as we know no longer exists. This isn't a parallel world. This is still our world, but something critical happened that bifurcated our timeline.
And it happened about 30 years back, so it happened pre-Superman. And the idea is that whatever happened pre-Superman wrecked the planet to such a degree that now the only city that's left is Gotham City. But Gotham City is no longer called Gotham City, it's called the Garden, and it's run by Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor sits at the top of it as a governor. He has programmed the entire population with this thing called ride-alongs. They're like little computers in your brain. Make you happy, make you hungry when he wants you to be hungry,
make you
sleep when you want to sleep.
Follow the rules exclusively, and the trick is, when all this happened, the heroes that we know of the time, they were wiped out too.
Or they just never happened. Batman never happened. Superman never happened. Wonder Woman is thought of as like a myth. No one knows about these characters. They were never publicly active in the way that the DC universe has had them for 30 years.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary, kind of bad place. And in that place, we meet our hero, Kara Gordon. Not Kara Danvers, though the same girl, raised completely differently in a very, very different context. And she's raised as the daughter to Jim Gordon, who is the head of this thing called the Lexus, which is the sort of Lex Luthor's secret police. And you have her sister, Barbara Gordon, who is essentially the oracle of this organization.
And it's really great because Kara, we're getting to approach her as a young girl who doesn't know, her destiny, which is very classic Supergirl, but she also doesn't know who she can be. She doesn't know her powers. She doesn't know that she's part of this grand legacy. She's just this small girl kind of coming into this big world, fighting for what she believes in.
Okay, so how did you guys draw inspiration from the line of DC Collectibles?
That was the easiest part of all.
Yeah, absolutely the easiest part.
They showed us these beautiful designs, and our instinct just started going wild. You know, when we first saw this stuff, we were like, oh wow, this is such a daunting task. There's so many elements here to play with, and we have so much respect for these characters. We absolutely have to do something that's really special. And then we started looking at these designs, and we were like, oh, well, what if we did this? And like, look at those tattoos. Oh my God, clearly she got those in a prison camp. Like, oh my God, yeah! And like, all the stories just started rolling out from these awesome, awesome designs.
The fun of this story is that we get to reinvent like any character we want to hit.
Absolutely.
And do so in a way that, again, like Superman and Batman have never been around. So what does that mean for these characters? What does that mean for a Batgirl? What does that mean for Harley Quinn, right?
Right, so Harley is actually one of my favorite characters just in the regular DCU. So getting the chance to do this version of her that's a little bit more, well, a lot of it more self-actualized, but most importantly, it's a Harley Quinn that is getting to evolve without being dependent on the Joker.
Great.
She came from herself first in her relationship with the Garden, her relationship with Lex Luthor, and from that kind of growth, she's the one who's going to be inspiring the Joker.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
We really get to like approach her from a really honest, really true, really powerful place.
And then we get to look at the Joker from this very kind of very Harley Quinn place, where he's always trying to prove himself to her rather than the other way around. And that she's the one who sort of always is like kind of shunting him off to the side and every once in a while realizing like, oh, I kind of maybe like this guy, but like also like, ew.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Like that's been really fun to do.
What about you, Jackson?
That's a great question. I think we have a really cool take on Catwoman that I can almost not talk about without getting too spoilery about it.
That's true.
When we get to her in episode 7 and 8, you're gonna get a lot of really cool information about what's going on with her. But I think our Catwoman has some really cool hidden depth. And I think the one thing I'll throw just as a tease is that she's not Selena Kyle.
Ooh.
And that what it means to be Catwoman in this world isn't necessarily dependent on being Selena, and how that relationship plays out is, I think, going to be a very interesting one to watch.
You guys, I cannot wait for this series. It sounds like it's going to be incredible. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Our pleasure.
I have one more question, and that is, when does this launch?
August 16th.
We're going to be bi-weekly until October, and then we're going to start going weekly. So after that, you'll get Gotham City Garage like every week.
Starts digital, goes physical. We're excited to see you then.
Yeah, we're incredibly excited.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That's a preview of Gotham City Garage, and here's the full list of DC Comics you can pick up this week. That's the news for now, but make sure you update your poll list for this week and check back with us for more news straight from San Diego Comic-Con.
Also, this year, we're going to be holding the first ever DC All Access panel Thursday at San Diego Comic-Con. So if you're at the con, come by, say hi, and see a really cool panel. We'll see you tomorrow, Super Friends.